For the third time this year, Memphis having lineups look like this with Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and a big tonight with 3 games. And the Grizzlies coming off a win against Charlotte. Morant gets up the first.
You know what? It's what I love about Anthony Edwards, and it sets him apart from a lot of the stars in this league. He's a great offensive player. Who's he opened the game on? Ja Morant. Most guys who are the primary scorers on teams are getting hidden on weaker offensive players. Anthony Edwards wants the challenge.
Payne with the steal. Missed opportunity. That looked a lot like what we saw from Minnesota in the fourth quarter against Milwaukee. As Payne on the little floater comes up short. And on the other end, Mike Conley, still very popular here in Memphis. Got a big ovation. They were sure to announce him first when they introduced the opposing team. As Payne, his jumper, and Memphis tonight.
Tomas Ishilo's talking about using more pick and roll with Zach Edey, and especially when he screens for Payne. Hold the screen, Julius Randle knocks one down. But look at Zach Edey run the floor.
Now, his 7-8 shooter and scorer. Great success in the Euro Leagues. Was in Germany, most recently in Paris, an assistant here with the Grizzlies, and now getting a chance to run the show with the Grizzlies. And hired with not start for Chris Finch and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And this was part of the discussion before the game. As Memphis gives it right back, Edwards runs the floor and puts it down.
Well, as far as the turnovers, look, that's how Memphis plays. Memphis attacks you at both ends of the floor, and they force a lot of turnovers.
Really good shape. They have the tiebreaker over Memphis. There are so many teams involved here as Julius Randle.
Yeah, Randle's off to a start that looks like he's back to that 2021 season where he shot over 40% from 3.
McDaniels probing, will wait for his teammates and they'll reset it. And Conley gives it right back. McDaniels left open. And there's Edey to clear the rebound. Edey the last 6 games averaging 14 boards a game as Jaren Jackson landing
really well of late too. Last 7 games comes in at 42% from 3.
Randle, Edey's out there on an island. Tough matchup for Edey. Randle shoots over him and hits one. Julius.
It was great defense by Zach Edey.
Randle, this all of February, had that adductor injury. Been back since March. Morant going to work. Hangs and scores off the glass. And he's already having a quick chat on his way down the floor with Jonathan Sterling, saying he's been fouled twice already with no calls. Edwards open for 3. Randle set him up.
Minnesota plays one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. 5th in makes, attempts, and three-point percentage.
Williams strong with the conundrum that Minnesota found themselves in against Milwaukee on Tuesday. A lot of teams don't really deploy the zone against Minnesota because of their success from beyond the arc, but Milwaukee stuck with it. Gopes and the Wolves had no answer. Game like that, you got to call that an anomaly though, don't you?
Well, we'll see. I mean, you're certainly going to see it again. After that game the other night, they're going to see it again until they prove that they can overcome that.
3 games left in the schedule. Edwards hits another. Great superstars in this game, and now has Olympic gold on his trophy case as well. Morant again, he is upset he's not getting the calls.
I do think he got fouled on that one, but you can see the real contrast in style.
Randle.
Minnesota with 4 made threes, 5 made 3. Memphis is on the attack all the time, trying to get to the basket.
8-0 run for the Wolves here, and they lead at 21-13. Morant puts up a 3. Edwards goes to the ground. He basically just told Mike Conley, go play with somebody else right now. I need a minute.
I'll tell you what, when he gets the ball back, he'll be fine.
Paul's got energy.
I told you.
He says he's
the
good.
Great healer. The great healer of NBA players, the basketball.
You always say that.
Well, didn't he look good when he got it?
Yeah, he was spry. Williams, he gets to start tonight. Williams, no look out to Payne. Payne rips. Randle getting a lot of touches early in this first quarter. Edwards cuts to the basket.
Of course you're watching games, but at the end of the day, handle business. We have to focus on Memphis tonight. Nothing else matters. On the other side, Zach Edey told me for Memphis, every game matters. We can't really look past one. No one wants to be in that play-in. We are focused on our next game, guys. Both teams aligned.
Moran now watching the standings. Then proceeded to recite where everybody is in the standings.
Everybody knows. but he did make a great point, Chris Finch. The only thing you can control is how you play on the court. The rest of it's out of your control.
Here's Ja Morant once again taking on Gobert. He's done that. He's got a beautiful float game. And Morant with a little push here for the Grizzlies. Minnesota went on an 8-0 run before Desmond Bane hit that three-pointer. And now Bane with the ball in his hands. Sends it out to Aldama. First minutes on the floor.
And 9 for 15 from 3 here to start.
That is an 8-0 Memphis run to answer Minnesota's run. Edwards got knocked above the knee. And that's a whistle in Charlotte. Missed a good chunk of the season as well. They are without two big pieces. Stephanie's going to have more on that a little bit later, but Brandon Clark and Jaden Wells. Naz Reid, his first minutes on the floor, gets his own, and he is fouled.
That rating in the league has been at the level we saw him play at last.
Under 5 to go in the first quarter, Minnesota by 1. Behind the back, here's Jaren Jackson, same spot from the wing, can't hit it this time. Jaden McDaniels with a rebound. Scottie Pippen Jr. on the floor. He was brilliant for them in our game last week in Miami. He's been playing great. Game just keeps improving, and they get the week off before the playoffs begin, Saturday or Sunday for most teams. Here's Pippen on the drive. That was deflected by DiVincenzo. Nice effort there by Reid to keep it alive. And forces another turnover. Minnesota started 8 of 10 from the field. They've missed their last 6, make it their last 7 now. Still a 1-point lead. And Jackson steps on. The
Jackson Jr. was a Memphis team that has been better lately, but has struggled with turnovers for a good part of the year.
Edwards drives it, hangs with the left hand, no good. Mar Stevens with the rebound. Here's Morant, three-pointer, cash. Well, and Ja Morant gets loose for a three-pointer to give Memphis the lead.
The key point is he's celebrating because he's doing such good things.
Games, shoulder, hip, hamstring injuries set him back this year. Here's Jaren Jackson Jr. That strong hand missed it. Alexander Walker secures it. We send it over to Stephanie.
Well, you noted the new celebration by Ja Morant. He was asked this morning about it, and he said he's going to keep it. He's not changing it up every game until someone has a problem with it. Of course, he said that tongue-in-cheek, gentlemen.
Well, it's a much less expensive version of a celebration, I'll say that, from what we saw in Miami last week. Got hit for a $75,000 fine after a couple of celebrations that didn't abide and align with the NBA.
Julius Randle doing a great job on Jaren Jackson Jr.
Milwaukee on Tuesday, but Minnesota's won 5 of their last 6. They've won 14 of their last 18. And despite a brutal final 10 minutes at Fiserv Forum on Tuesday.
Team in the NBA since the start of March. And look, they had a lot of injuries. DiVincenzo was out, Randle was out, Gobert was out. They've had all those guys back now since the start of March, and they've been outstanding. This is a very good 8-man rotation, and they're going to be a tough out for anybody.
Pippen can't get the bounce, and Gobert secures the rebound. Minnesota can be a dominant force on the defensive glass, especially, obviously, with Rudy Gobert on the floor. And keeping him on the floor in those crunch minutes important as Conley turns it over, thought he was bumped from behind. And Alexander Walker, good hands to stop the transition. Makachar in the corner. It was but Pippen stayed with it. And the Grizzlies knocked down another triple, their 7th.
Conchar hasn't played a lot lately, but with Jalen Wells' injury, he's another guy that gets added to the rotation.
Nice drive basket. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the Canadian, he'll be an unrestricted free agent at season's end.
Yeah, he's made himself some money this year.
For sure. Jaren Jackson Jr. is old man of the Grizzlies. He's 29. He's the oldest player on their roster.
Everything's relative. I mean, you're old too, but when you sit next to me, you're young.
Here's Reed. He drives and lays it. Finger roll. Naz Reed, all that length. 41-34, Minnesota in front. Minnesota has dropped the first 2 games of the year, and that one rattles home. Beat them back on the 11th of January, and then they matched up 9 days later here in Memphis. That was a 2-point game. Anthony Edwards had a chance to win that game for Minnesota.
He had a chance to win both of those games with threes at the end. He got 2 looks in the first game, 1 look in the second game. He just was unable to knock him down.
They were 1-possession games each case. The first one was more Memphis's pace. That was a game that ended at 127. Minnesota got a little more to their pace, but obviously so much has changed with the Grizzlies since then. Alexander Walker drops it as Anthony Edwards returns to the floor for Minnesota. And gets up a shot immediately. Pointer.
Big Ben to try to shoot the gap just creates too much space. You got to keep a body on shooter. Pippen, outstanding cut, beautiful passing. Memphis for most of the year was great with those cuts. They've become more of a pick and roll team, but all year long they've been great with cuts out of the corner.
Again, Naz roots to the basket. Tell you, a lot's got to be said about how Memphis has developed their players. They've got great production. Hits another 3-pointer.
Well, Bane, when Morant is on the bench, knows that he's the primary guy, and he's and you have got to know that.
And he knocks, putting together a terrific second quarter, I should say. 8 points in the quarter. And he'll sit now, and it's Morant time. Wow, what a finish here.
Well, there's been so much. He's missed so many games, Ja Morant, with injuries, suspensions, off-court troubles. You forget sometimes how good this guy is when as Anthony Edwards. Really high-scoring game here. I mean, we're talking this game at this pace. We're going into the 140s, maybe even 150.
Edey puts up an air ball. He got it deep, couldn't score it. Anthony Edwards has knocked down 3 threes. Gets a screen from Gobert, make it 4.
Under the screen. Anthony Edwards, second in the league in 3-pointers made. You've got to go past by Anthony Edwards.
Edwards has 21 points in 11 minutes. He is cooking tonight in Memphis. Conley, that's that little run.
Well, Memphis playing well offensively, but they're not putting a lot into the game defensively right now.
Here's Aldama. And a back tap. Aldama able to run it down. Saves the second possession here. Another chance.
Great job by Edey keeping the ball alive.
Aldama kicks it to Williams. A lefty fires and hits from... Well, Memphis with their first offensive rebound. And it turns into a corner 3. 4-point Minnesota lead. Wolves with the ball. We're halfway through the second quarter. And this is a scoring binge here tonight.
Well, both teams have made 10 threes already.
Oh, shooter checked one on the green right there, did Anthony Edwards.
Well, Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant are both just putting on a show out here offensively.
Oh, and there goes Morant. I can do better. Morant's got 16 in his 11 minutes. He's only missed 2 shots. Edwards with 23 now in 13 minutes of play.
And he's only missed 2 shots.
Got over 2,100 points now for the year. He's already set the Timberwolves franchise record. He did that on Tuesday. And passed Karl Anthony Towns for the single season scoring. He's 4th in the NBA in points per game. He leads the NBA in 3-pointers made. Kevin Love has the all-time Wolves single-season points per game total at 26.1. Edwards has a chance. Here's Gobert, gives it up. Alexander Walker, long possession there, results in a one and done as Edey clears the rebound. Pippen running with Williams, Aldama, Zach Edey, and Ja Morant. And it's going to be an off.
From 3, and they're down 4. One of the big reasons, 9 turnovers.
Well, if you listen to the great Pete Pranica and Brevin Knight on Memphis Grizzlies television, that is always a major theme, is the foul trouble for the big men, especially Jaren Jackson Jr. Randall puts a flurry of Triple J and able to score it. Randall, he's got double figures now with 10. Champion a couple of times. Defensive Player of the Year in his All-Star season of 2023. Minnesota leads it by 4. Offensive has cooled off a bit here in the back half of this second quarter. Randall, step back, three-pointer, no good. There's Williams with the rebound. Morant with the ball in his hands.
Too many possessions with Edwards not having the ball.
Misses a 3. And Edwards has the ball now. Anthony Edwards, three-pointer. It's his first. Morant working with Jackson. Wolves blow that up. Here comes Aldama now. He hangs and scores. Nice take to the basket.
Aldama, career years across the board, every statistic.
Oh, left Nas Reed. He comes up short. Alexander Walker got a couple.
Bounder, but he had 8 offensive rebounds in 4 games prior to this coming in. He's been more active there. Going to have to get a body on him.
Plays bigger than 6'5". Bane for 3, got it. A stroke and lead on the Desmond Bane triple. 7-0 Memphis run. Bane having a big first half. Memphis by a point. And we send it over to Stephanie Reddy as we got a whistle on the floor.
Fouling more and just about changing shots, not necessarily swatting them away. He said it's really about not blocking everything. It's just about being available for his team, and so far we've seen that tonight.
Totally agree, Stephanie, and it's a great uniforms. 50 years ago, the Memphis sound of the ABA. I think if we're going to honor an ABA team, we should play with a red, white, and blue ball.
I like that. I love that red, white, and blue ball.
Oh, so did I. Had one as a kid and loved it.
That's what you learn at the half, Steph.
Ja Morant had 12 points in the second, so some defensive adjustments happening, more to continue.
Yeah, look, and that's an area we talked about it earlier where Minnesota's usually very good. It's defending the 3. They give up the 3rd fewest and have the 6th best percentage defense against the 3. But tonight, as Ja Morant shoots another one, and 70% from 3, 14 for 20.
I mean, that's the thing. Yes, the 3s are coming in volume, but man, knocking them down at an impressive clip. Both of these teams, you expect that from Minnesota. Memphis beating up their own game right now. It's Randall. Minnesota typically very good guarding the three-point line. It is a point of emphasis for Chris Finch. They found some open spaces out there. And there's a steal. McDaniels on the runaway.
Memphis, you've got to be a little bit concerned that you're shooting 66% from the floor, 70% from 3, and you're up 1.
A lot of offensive firepower in this one. Last meeting between these two teams, looks like McDaniels got caught.
Center, impossible.
Normally you take the chances to see if Morant will miss a 3.
Yeah, but he's been shooting the 3 so well in the 6 games since he's come back off that injury.
Yeah, it really has. And Morant's hit 3 threes tonight, made half of his 3s. Minnesota down a point with the ball, just getting started here in the 3rd quarter. Been a very entertaining matchup thus far. Randall off 1 foot. Shooters, Julius Randall.
Minnesota back in front.
Randall's got 15. Biggest lead in this game, 8. Minnesota had an 8-point lead. Biggest lead for Memphis was ball.
Foul there on Aldama over the top. Memphis hasn't missed many shots tonight, but when they have missed, they haven't been able to get anything back. Only 1 offensive rebound. It's an area that's really dropped off in the last few.
Both with 4. There's a delay for Taylor Jenkins. 36-18. They were second in the West at the All-Star break. They had a 6-game lead on the Wolves, who were in 7th at the time. Tomas Isolo. Then they have won the last 3. We were there for his first win in Miami, and they have not lost since. Ja Morant had the buzzer beater.
2 coaches now in the NBA, Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone, fired with fewer than 10 games to go in the season, and both teams were 15 games over 500 when the coaches got fired.
Here's Conley on the drive with the left hand. Finish by Mike Conley.
And we haven't seen those this year. A career low 37% from 2-point range. He's been very effective from 3, but has really had trouble finishing.
Bay cannot hit. Minnesota on a 13-0 run with the ball. Randall drops his shoulder.
Another attack of the rim, and now they're back on the defense. Morant all the way to the rim, but can't finish for Memphis. We know that. It's just one of the problems they've had. They foul quite a bit.
So early in his tenure as the interim head coach.
Well, a lot more pick and rolls. They've talked about that. They were at one point in this season running among the fewest pick and rolls in the league. That's really picked up. Started to pick up under Taylor Jenkins anyway, but has picked up a lot for an assist on that. But they have not hit the offensive glass as hard. They have not forced the number of turnovers that they were before, but they've been better at the ball. And we see him with a great finish there. Now 23 points to go with his 5 assists.
That was a good example of it as Randall hits a 3 over Edey. Wolves out of a cannon here in this second half. They are really rolling right now. They have taken the air out of this building.
Some, like you showed in the first half, you know, he was taking a gamble on creating a layup on the fast break. That's just careless. Those you cannot have.
Conley drops it off Gobert, and Bain quarter thus far as Gobert in the play-in. And then on Friday, second chance here as Edwards hits it. Is raining down right. It's gone to 11.5, and what a quarter this has been. It was 72-67 Memphis at the half. Minnesota's outscored the Grizzlies 26-5 in this third quarter. 26 points on the board in the first 5 minutes of this third quarter as Ja Morant throws it away.
As you can see, the game of runs there. Minnesota on a huge one right now.
Minnesota on the other end of what they endured in Milwaukee on Tuesday. As Randall scores again. Randall has 12 in the quarter.
Now their defense is the problem. They just can't stop Minnesota at all right here in the third quarter.
Edwards gets by Bain, kicks it, and throws it into higher than the t-shirt toss usually goes. 10 for 10 this quarter are the Wolves. Jaren Jackson with those 4 fouls. One in.
They need a lot more of those, and they've got to get some stops down here. You're not coming from 16 down with just making shots.
I don't think there's any lead that the Wolves could muster right now that Wolves fans would feel comfortable with after what they saw Tuesday. Late clock, Randall's got to put one up, does so, hits the rim, and the foul.
Second chance points by the Wolves.
Pippen goes all the way, he's fouled.
He has been even better. 7 games averaging about 14 points and 5 assists, shooting 54% from the floor and 54% from 3.
Ja Morant got the highlights last Thursday in Miami with that game winner, rightly so, as Morant fouled.
Shot fake creates
the app. 2 free throws for Edwards, 36 points. Only in the third quarter. Pippen, fake pass, and now they lead it by 16. That's the run, 30-8. 6 minutes of time. It came quick.
But 2 quick buckets by Pippen, and Chris Finch wanted a timeout. He does not want to see any let up. They just went through giving up a point lead in 10 minutes the other night in Milwaukee. You don't want to take any time off and let this Memphis team get going again.
Oh, Morantism not only hangs but contorts and able to score the basket. Ja Morant scored the first 5 points of this quarter. He's got 25 now. Dished out 6 assists. Randall He's had a big third. Randall taking on Aldama, backs his way in. They clear it out. Randall, no good. There's Edey with the rebound. Pippen pushes. Memphis just got their first board of the quarter as Morant misses. Bounce pass to Edwards. Gobert running the floor. Edwards takes it himself. Morant.
In the air because I couldn't get him. Shooting his 13th free throw. Memphis is shot.
Here goes Morant. Hangs again.
Normally a very good offensive.
Ja Morant.
But again, we keep saying it. You're going to have to get a lot of stops. And you can score, but that's not going to get it done.
Nice lead, Edwards. Playmaking. And picks up an assist for his big man right there. Edwards sitting on 38. As Pippen knocked. Randall has 14 in the quarter. And those two have combined for 26 of the 38 points. Pippen pushing double figures once again. And Pippen hits the deck.
Santi Aldama may have had his hands on him, but he didn't push him into that.
Pippen, and it's blocked by Gobert. Edwards defending. Jared Jackson Jr. got Naz Reid on him. Gobert lurks, and Jackson.
His comfort zone.
Naz Reid picks up. 3:22 remaining in the third quarter. Memphis led by 5 at the half. And then a huge surge by Minnesota to start this third quarter. Alexander Walker up and over Edey, certainly altered that shot. Bane out of the pack. Bane in a big second quarter. Jackson guarded by DiVincenzo, drops his shoulder. And Jackson to Edey. Edey kicks it, Aldama passed it up. There's a screen there by John Goble.
Well, John was known for that as his, when he played at Miami Senior High in Florida, he was known as a great screener.
FIU too. Aldama probably should have put that one up. I don't think he could believe that Edwards couldn't get through the official screen.
I had it as a moving screen myself.
Here's Edwards. He shakes Aldama, buries another piece.
As you reported earlier, Jalen Wells is out due to a right wrist fracture and facial lacerations, guys, but I'm so happy to report that he returned. He's here. Spirits, teammates, so happy to see him. So, of course, good news.
Thanks, Stephanie. And that is your primary pieces. Even Brandon in their first 2 games, he was real trouble for the Wolves. As Jackson can't get it to go. A third chance here, and Pippen, that's a
buckets.
There you go.
12 for 32. Tonight, he's got 13 buckets.
A selfie in the hospital. He's still in his Grizzlies uniform with a thumbs up that he's going to be all right. Jackson misses badly, sticks it in the neck. And Minnesota in ball control. I don't have to remind Wolves fans that the Wolves were up 20 points at the end of the third Tuesday. With 10 minutes left in the game in Milwaukee Tuesday, they were up 24. Bucks went on a 23-0 run. Finished with a 34-3 run. And you get the idea, talking to Chris Finch before the game, there's a few things that you can learn from a game like that. They certainly didn't shy away from it. They went to the film, pointed out a few things. Mostly, though, it was the ball handling and the Milwaukee zone that gave them a lot of trouble. They turned it over way out of character in that fourth quarter, and then they just couldn't stop the ball from rolling. They have 9 turnovers in the fourth quarter, Stan.
Right, to only 1 for Milwaukee.
Did in that fourth quarter on Tuesday. That one's going to sting the Wolves, but you know, after all of that, as Edey comeback responded well thus far tonight. They're up 21 here as we go under 10 minutes remaining in this game.
Well, yeah, but
and then they have home games coming up. They have 2 home games to finish the year. They're in great shape, Minnesota.
They have 2 home games against teams who are hoping to lose.
And the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. As Pippen.
Scottie Pippen's become one of my favorite players this year because I see the same thing from him every night.
Yeah.
Great energy, works on both ends of the floor, picks up the pace of the game every time he comes in.
Randall, acrobatic finish. They got to a strong hand, able to put it in.
This is one of the best games Randall's had since he's come back.
He's got 26 now. Chinzo. 20, 1 out of 2 for Edey. Mike Conley at the controls. Steady point guard. 12 years here at Memphis. Still one of the all-time favorites. They'll retire his number when he's done playing. Randall late clock, and that's going to be a foul.
Realize, no, that one's too obvious.
Keep moving.
That one's too obvious. I can't even argue that one.
Morant gets low. Morant missed it. Had 13 buckets in the first 3 quarters here tonight. Here is Morant. Got a Morant.
He's going to continue to shoot the 3 the way he has since he's come back off injury. I don't know how you guard him.
I'll tell you, it also the Scottie Pippen part of that equation.
Starting level point guard in this league, and I think he'll get that opportunity from someone pretty soon.
Edwards misses the 3. Wow, McDaniels was
Little run. That's right, and you know, getting that deja vu feeling with the Timberwolves.
Screws will tighten quickly. Wonder if Memphis will go to a zone at all. He was flat-footed and falling the other way. It's a 10-2 Grizzlies run now. Getting a little anxious if you're in Minnesota. Here's Randall for 3. Missed it. Edey and Gobert. Pippen guards Edwards. Gets himself out of the corner, drops it off. And a rim run, McDaniels, and he scores on Edey.
McDaniels and a nice feed from Gobert.
Gobert's got 3 assists, 11 points, 7 rebounds. Defensive presence always. Bane sets up, Morant, in and out it goes. Again, Morant was open for 3 in the corner. Edwards, Pippen grabs his jersey.
End. He doesn't need to be grabbing somebody's jersey and just giving away fouls.
Alexander Walker, in and out. Randall's there, offensive rebound, missed it. And it's Bane out of the pack. Memphis trying to keep this run going here. Bane drives it. Bane scores again. League leaders in layups all year. He's had a couple of big ones in this 4th quarter, part of this Memphis run right now. Bane pushing 30 points once again. Julius Randle open, fires, misses. 1 and done. Grizzlies down 15 with the ball. Pippen got stuck in the air. And now Bane. Tough shot, guarded by Edwards. They had time. Warriors on ESPN. All the games in the East start at 1 Eastern. All the games in the West at 3:30 Eastern. Minnesota with a big possession here, and they hit 3. Jaden McDaniels comes out of that timeout. That lead had been carved down to 15 as Morant comes up short, and Edwards secures the rebound.
Well, like blitzed Anthony Edwards twice. He's gotten the ball to Gobert. Gobert has had an assist twice. That one for a 3.
McDaniels got Aldama on him. That's been the matchup they have sought out tonight. Well, Minnesota missing a lot of shots in this 4th quarter. There's their 9th miss of the quarter. Morant, 3-point. Trying to will his Grizzlies back into this thing. 5 made 3s for Morant. He's got 33 tonight.
They are 17 for 30 from 3, and they're down 15 points.
Edwards, no good. Aldama with a rebound. In the hands of Morant. Under 5 minutes to go in regulation. Morant for 3, feeling it, missed it. Pippen the offensive rebound. Sets up Morant in the corner. He drives, he hangs, and he scored! And until now,
again.
I thought we were past that, Stan.
Wow, I'll tell you what.
So he's 4 for 5 now. Minnesota by 13, 4.5 to go. Conley might have had a toe on the line. He missed it anyway. Pippen pushes. He's got Morant running with him. Bane, the trailer. Jackson sets up for 3. Jackson!
It happened 2 games in a row.
I mean, that look by Chris Finch said it all. Are you kidding me, he says. 4 minutes to go. Memphis has outscored Minnesota by 12 in the quarter. McDaniels again in the corner, no good. One and done. Aldama up ahead. Pippen leaves it for Bane. Three-pointer. No. Randall, strong rebound.
If he would have made that, this place would have exploded. They need Anthony Edwards to get going. I mean, he had 3 great quarters. He didn't score in the fourth quarter Tuesday night, or didn't score a bucket in the fourth quarter.
He looks winded. He asked Conley to keep it on this side of the floor. Randall backs his way down. Big body. Yeah, what a bucket. Pippen right back at him. Missed it. Randall the rebound.
Thought he got fouled, but great pace. Scottie Pippen Jr. just relentless pushing the pace.
Again, it's Conley to Randall on this side of the floor. Double team comes. And Randall held on to it too long. Turnover. Aldama. Ja Morant guarded by Edwards. Morant, three-pointer. He was looking for a foul. And now Pippen with a steal. Morant, toe set, gives it up to Bane. Missed it. Morant offensive rebound. Well, Minnesota giving Memphis some chances here. 2.5 to go. Morant fouled.
Frustrating second.
Edwards with 44. In and out. Minnesota led by 23 with just over 10 minutes remaining. Memphis has outscored them by 11 since. Conley to Gobert. Gobert. Jam. And now it's back up to 14. Memphis got to go quick. Pippen. And able to hit a little bit. We're back in action tomorrow. Memphis has the dreaded late national game tonight and the trip to Denver. Always tough place to play, especially when you're on the second of a back-to-back, and it'll be a late arrival, early morning arrival for the Grizzlies.
You know what makes it even tougher, though? If they didn't have Nikola Jokic, you could get in late, you know, the whole thing, and you'd probably be okay, but they have the best player in the world, too, so it makes it even harder.
And they'll have a matchup with
Indeed. But that Denver
hits the road tonight.
You think that 128 is going to really...
44 for Anthony Edwards.
31 for Randall with 10 rebounds and 5 assists, too. It might be his best game of the year, but it's certainly been his best game since he's come back.
Sets up Naz Reid in the corner. Coach Anthony Edwards, in the first 2 meetings against Memphis, both Memphis wins. He combined for 47 points as Jackson goes. So 47 points in 2 games for Edwards, the first 2 meetings. Tonight, 44. He was 13 of 19. He missed just 6 shots. He made 7 threes tonight, did Edwards. And Minnesota picks up their first win of the year against the Grizzlies. And has caused the tiebreaker on. So they've had Memphis will have a big matchup. Who's it going to be in the playoffs? The West is going to be epic this year.
Yes, it certainly is.
Well, it's going to be whatever matchup throughout that West. We got Oklahoma City and Houston in the 2 top spots. Lakers look like they're poised to secure the 3rd spot. But 4 through 8 still up for grabs here. G.G. Jackson will just dribble it out. And that'll take us to the finish line. Big scoring night in Memphis. Minnesota wins it 141 to 125.